And we are all in the mixing machine here, and I am showing you that little mold, which is the Into Resin Dragon Heart mold. We're waiting for our resin to mix up. This is one of the awesome pigment flakes, Chameleon flakes, and the other Chameleon flake that I am using. I got these from ArtByMusie. Hello everyone! This is Bondcrafters Black Epoxy. They have so kindly sent this to me. You can see I've used it a few times before. So we are just going to measure some of this out here. I'm just emptying out the rest of what's in these little containers. And this is part B. It is the clear part of the epoxy. And part A is the colored black resin part. Just getting these all emptied, and then I will top them off with a little bit of another container. If you are in the US, you may want to check her out. I know she's on Instagram. That is a dragon scale. Look, see, dragon scale. And that is the color we are going to use for the dragon's body and head and legs. And we are going to flip our mold inside out and paint with those flakes. Now, flakes, they love static electricity, and my ever-present professional videography skills are showing as I'm going partway out of the screen there. If you're just picking up a little bit, you only get a little bit. You see a bunch will stick to the brush here. But you could see they all flung off the brush and stuck elsewhere on the mold. So I'm going to grab some tweezers here. And I've seen Lula at Nerd Goblin Art do this, and I think I've seen Toonpish Craft do this, Wendy at Toonpish Craft. So you can drop a lot more and get a lot more action done with these flakes, dropping it like that. Now you can see they have stuck to various places on this mold because of that static cling. I've heard you can take a fabric dryer sheet, kind of lightly touch it on your mold. Not tried that. I wonder about the chemicals in the dryer sheet, if that would affect anything with the resin. So I haven't tried that yet, but if you have tried it, go ahead, add a comment down below and let me know if that's a successful thing to do. And we greatly appreciate knowing that little tidbit of information here. So I'll go ahead and fast forward this as I continue painting the dragon. We're going to move on to the other color called Euphoria once we've got this finished, and it will be on the dragon's wings. This video is also part of the Friendship Express collaborations on Saturdays and Sundays. Check out the playlist down below in the description. All right, so we've got the green done, and now we're going to move on to that Euphoria. But first, we're going to try to get rid of all those extra little flakies that decided to stick everywhere else than where they were supposed to. So I just grabbed some packing tape, and I'm kind of just pushing it up along the mold here. And you will notice this is a mold I actually used a couple of videos back. It is not going to be exactly the same as what I did. It is going to have some different coloring on it. So it will be different. You can see that that tape picked up a lot of those flakes. And I don't mind little splotches of flakes here and there. That's completely fine. Let's go ahead and grab the green dragon scale again, because that tape took off some of the coloring on his tail here. So we need to get that fixed back up. and just give it a once over to see anywhere else that was missed. And I didn't like the coverage, so I'm just trying to put some more on there. And don't ask me, I don't know why I just decided that dragon scale, you know, it has to be the color of the dragon's body. It doesn't have to. You can color it whatever color you want to. My brain just said dragon scale, dragon. They go together. And I think I'm grabbing another piece of tape. Yep. Picking off any more of those, or trying to pick off any more last little overflowing pigment areas. Now we're using that Euphoria. This is a really pretty color too. Very like fall-like, and purple. It's like purple, gold, orange. And we are going to do the wings. And I'll speed this up along, since it does take a little while. And you can see all those flakes that just stuck there to the top. And again, trying to do that tape trick, because it works better than coming in with alcohol and a tiny little Q-tip. If I could just grab a bunch of it in one shot with some tape. And here I'm trying to clean it up all around, trying to get those little areas in between the colored spaces, because we are going to use another color on all of that filigree. And now we'll just go back to getting the other dragon side for their wings. And here I just grabbed a bigger, fluffier brush to really get all those flakes burnished into those dragons. Get it rubbed in on their bodies, get it rubbed in on their wings, so that it's not gonna go anywhere, and we're gonna get a really nice coverage. Here is the Tiny Turner Chameleon powder. I believe that was in Arcane. And this is what I'm going to use actually for all of the filigree areas. So all that little tiny detail, I'm trying to get that Arcane down in there. And I'm going to use that tape technique again later to try to get it removed from the blank spaces where I don't want it. And remember, the first color put down on the mold is the color that will shine through. So I do have some of those flake colors, the dragon scale and the Euphoria, already down in some of the little filigree areas. So those colors are going to shine through over the Arcane, but that's okay. I think it's just going to help enhance all of the coloring on this guy. All right, and now I'm trying to clean off these blank areas. I thought I used tape. I did not. I used a baby wipe. So I'm just trying to go into those blank areas and get all of that coloring pigment out of there. Now, as I do this, I do end up wiping away some spots on the dragon, and I have to go back and fill them in. Like his feet, I ended up wiping a little bit off, and a tail. But I just go back and fill those areas. I won't make you watch through. You can see I missed his little foot that I was pointing to right there. But I will go back and add some coloring into there as I do this. So any little spots that accidentally wiped away some of the pigment where I wanted it to stay, I do go back and fill those spots in. So I'll let this run for just a little bit on high speed so you don't have to sit through all of it, but you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing, and then we'll be back. All right, next we are using Nether from the Tiny Turner Chameleon powders, and this is what we're filling in now in all of those blank spaces. Anywhere that I took that pigment off, this is the color that's going to be there. Now you can see it's kind of a darker purple, more bluish kind of purple. And in certain light, you can see that in the end where all of that comes through. I'll let you decide at the end, do they look too much alike? Should I have gone a different route with this side of the coloring? And if you think I should have gone a different route, let me know down in the comments. What would you have done? What colors would you have used? And let's grab that big fluffy brush here and get it all burnished in really well. All right, we're done burnishing it in. So now we are trying to flip it over, flip it back right side inside, I guess. And hopefully that I didn't ruin any of all of that pigment I just put on. So we're just stuck that brush back in there, running it all around again, hoping that any spaces I might have messed up a little bit, I got with that brush and they won't be messed up anymore. And by messed up, I meant like my fingerprint, my glove print, smudging anything. Now it's time to pour our resin, but first I'm actually fitting the G3 machine with the extender. Just so raise it up to make sure that, because I have it right in the middle of the machine, that it's not going to be touched by the UV light that's on the inside of the lid. I do have a discount code for Into Resin. It is the number 2, Fat Birds, and that will save you. It's 20% on your order. Take a look at the description below. It'll be linked down there as well. And here is our black resin from Bond Crafter. It is, again, the black epoxy pigment. I love this stuff. I don't have to get my hands dirty messing with any pigment paste. I have a discount code to Bond Crafter as well. They did send this to me. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I love this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and pour it in, maybe. Not sure what I'm thinking here. Oh, going to spray a hint of alcohol. I don't want to spray too much because I don't want it to make the mica powders drip. So I sprayed it into the cup and then just a hint in the mold and then immediately pour it in. We're pouring pretty slowly here. This does like to get lots of bubbles in all of that filigree. And I will say this pour was no exception. I got less than I got the last time. But they love to hang out in that filigree area. And the reason I don't take a micro brush in there is because I don't want to disturb all of that chameleon powders and flakes that I took all that time putting in there. I don't want to scrape any of that off. So I'm just kind of trying to roll it around and give it a good tap, hoping to get any of those bubbles to come out. And we'll do this just a couple more times, filling it slowly, tapping it around, popping a bubble there with my finger in the cup until we get it filled up to the top. Now this does shrink back a little bit more than maybe a regular clear epoxy. I did notice that on this one as well, but I have a fix for that, and you'll see that a little bit later. All right, we had some extra of that black resin, so I just mixed up some super fine glitters into this, and star cluster, and a blue super fine glitter, Laura's Art Corner multicolored super glitter mix. I can't recall the actual name of it. It's not in front of me at the moment. But I will link it down in the description for below, and everything that I've used will be linked in the description below as well. I'm just using that tape trick to try to get off some of this overspill of the mess I made on this little mold. And let's pop these little guys out. These are little round little animals. We've got a bear, a chick, a cat, and a pig. That's what the 4 are. And I like these guys. They make fun keychains if you can drill into them with a little, what are those, keyhole little screws. They make nice little keychains that way. Or I craft fairs, I know kids just like to buy them. I made them really cheap for the children so that they can get them because they like them. All right, let's take a look. Just trying to get that overspill off the bottom, overpour off the bottom, whatever you call it. And here is the bear. You can see that blue and purple and multicolor sparkle shining through that black there. And our next one here is the little chick, or little bird. A little cutie. The next one is our cat here. I was kind of going for a galaxy look on these guys. And this is the little piggy. But let's get to the main attraction. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go again. Let's unmold this dragon. Anyways, I'm showing you that it did kind of pull back as it cured, so it did leave a little indentation at the bottom where it kind of shrunk as it pulled. Now let's just stretch this little mold out. That's the nice thing about these really soft molds. You can pull them away and unmold things really easy with them. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be an actual candle mold or not. You can see where that mica flakes stayed on the mold. That means there's a lot of little bubbles that were created, and that's why that pigment stuck to the mold. We're just looking at it, giving it a once over. So remember, I had that question for you. The color on the filigree versus the color that I painted the embossed layers. Are they too close to one another? Do you think that they are too close and you can't see the difference? Or can you see the difference? We'll tell you in the light. It's in a different light, like outside. It's a lot easier to see the difference. A lot more blue will shine through on that filigree, like a lighter blue color. Now I am going to try to fix all of these little bubbles with some UV resin. So I've got this little silicone tool and I'm trying to dot, not that you can see with my stellar videoing skills here, I'm trying to dot it in the holes that were left from little air pockets that did not release. And we'll just take my little pen here, UV pen light, and cure that up. There were two places I was also trying to get on his, I'll say snout. And he didn't want to, there's a big bubble on both sides on his snout right at the tip. And I'm just adding a little bit of that dragon scale flakes into my UV resin. So at least it's not just clear and it will give the impression that I do have color still in these areas where I'm trying to fix these holes. I did do a lot of little tiny work with the UV resin, trying to fill a lot of these holes. Some were a little bit larger, like on the tip of his nose there. Some were very small. But I won't make you sit through all of this. It was quite long and tedious work, but I think it helped a lot. All right, what I'm doing next here, I am putting the rest of this UV resin with the green flake in it into that little indention on the bottom where the resin shrunk, just to make it a nice, more flat surface. And then we will put it under our UV lamp to get it nice and cured up. And here we are, all finished. Here is our lovely dragon. Well, two dragons, really, one on each side. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Did you like the color choices? Are the two colors too close to each other? And in a natural light, one of the colors actually does shine a little bit of a lighter blue. Anyways, thank you all for watching and being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're not subscribed, think about it. It is absolutely free for you, but it helps my channel out. If you're interested, I do have memberships as well for $3.99. So a big thank you to Lady in Resin for joining me. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
A drop, a dash of hue. I craft, I dream, the world feels new.